Shalom, shalom, shalom. Want to start off, of course, give all honor and glory, infinite praise and worship to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH. Double honors to our apostles and our elders, a great millstone, rule well, teach well, and sound doctrine. Strong shalom to the hopeful elect. Rest of the Lord, my two men, women, and children of the Lord will have mercy on these last days. Brother HAQADASH coming back with a quick lesson through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. Alright, this lesson is inspired really by convo with some of the brothers. And it sparked the inspiration for this lesson, which is the title of this lesson is Men as Trees. All right. So we're gonna find out, Lord willing, it's edifying. And we're gonna find out that the Bible often referred to men as trees. All right. The Father deals with growth, life growth, and repetition, reproduction. All right. The Father deals with consistency, motion. Okay. The Spirit is always moving. All right. Jumping from one brother to the next. All right. The Father deals with the flow. Anything that you think of that's supposed to, like water, or let me see, or anything that's supposed to move in motion and it doesn't move in motion is at a dead state. Okay. Now you see here, it says sperm. Okay, this etymology of sperm, it says seed, sperm. All right, semen. Okay, the seed of plants, also of animals, literally that which is sown. You see that? That's beautiful. Literally that which is sown. All right, so the Father refers to us as trees because the makeup of the body and the tree and the things in the world, go hand in hand. From just says this is sperm or slaki. I'm gonna read this real quick. The fluid in the male animal, etc., that fertilizes the female egg. Right? In a woman, it's like the fertilizer, right? The fertilizer, like the soil of the earth. Okay, the soil of the earth, and the trees and the plants in the earth have seeds, and the seed goes into the fertilizer. It goes into the soil and fertilizes itself, and it becomes fertilized, or the eggs or so forth, if you will, and it continues the cycle of growth. Like as you can see here in this picture here, this body resembles vines. Okay, our veins and throughout our body. Okay, and the connection this have with like the imagery of vines on trees. When you go into vines, and a lot of vines go on trees and they climb up things because they're seeking sunlight. The trees point up because they're receiving energy from the sun. Okay, and the rain and the water, showing you that we need light and we need water to live. And we're gonna find out, Lord willing, that YAHWASHI is just that. Light and water. You see? Light and water. That's what YAHWASHI is. And everything on the earth needs that to live. Again, that's why the trees point up. The vines, when they're going up the trees or on houses, they're seeking sunlight. All right? Seeking sunlight. The connectivity with our human body and the veins resembling electricity in the sky. If you look up electricity, I'm not going to do it for the time's sake. I just want this to be a quick hit, but the veins look like electricity because your body is electrified. It is living. It's pulsating. That's why they can take I forgot the thing it's called. The doctors use that electric thing when a person is basically almost out of there. They shock them, boof, and it hit their chest with the electricity because the body is electricity. That's why our veins look like electricity that's in the sky and tree vines and so forth. All right. So sperm going back to seed. Okay. This is why men plant. Okay. and that seed is planted in that fertile, that soil in a woman, and it grows. Okay, it becomes an egg. That egg, it's like now becomes an egg, but that egg is fertilized, and that's that fruit, and it's gonna produce. It's gonna produce fruit. It's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna produce fruit. Okay, and then that fruit, you know, how, you know, being the child, if it's a son, will plant its seed in another woman. Okay, and that fruit will continue to grow. That's why the lineage can never be cut off. Talking about Israel, you see what I'm saying? Because Israel, Shalom, Aki, Abashim, Shabashim, HAQADASH, Barakatah. Israel is just a continual seed of that same apple. If I take an apple tree and I give you one, and we take the seeds from that apple tree, and I plant it in my backyard and you plant it in your backyard, it's going to grow the same exact tree. It's going to be the exact same tree, man. That's why, like, if you watch them CSI shows, a lot of times they look at the debris on, you know what I'm saying, on people's feet, and they be like, well, what tree does that resemble? Well, this tree, this is the only tree they have in Florida. You know what I'm saying? They might say something like that because that tree is only planted and that seed is only grown in that specific area. But that's why, again, Israel will never be cut off. So this is Isaiah 61:3. Get into the quick hit. Isaiah 61:3, it says, now the context, I'm going to start at 1 for context, all right? Because the context is a people, okay? And these people are the Israelites. The Spirit of the Lord, YAHAWASHI, is upon me, because Yahweh have anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of YAHWASHI and the day of vengeance of our power. Because that's ultimately what we're doing. We out there standing in great boldness, but what? Proclaiming the acceptable year and the day of vengeance of our power, man. You know, and we're preaching this unto the meek, the elect, okay, that are captive, that are held bound, okay, in this man's society, to comfort all that mourn, which is why we wear sackcloth when we prophesy. It says, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. So we're going to find out, Lord willing, that the trees of the Father are righteous plants and righteous and sanctified, set apart seeds and growth. In the process it takes for it. So what the Father plants can nothing disrupt that growth. You know, you're not gonna have you're not gonna have crazy ass plants growing next to, you know what I'm saying, a tulip field, you know what I'm saying? Unless somebody put another plant there, you know what I'm saying? Take some seeds out, put a fake, you know what I'm saying? You know how people is. So what the Father has planted, can't no man pluck up. When you go down in 11, it says, for as the earth bringeth forth her bud, and as the garden causeth the things that are sown in it to spring forth, so the Most High Yahweh will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations. You see? And this is what the Lord is doing. Because when you're a righteous fruit, when you're a good fruit, you produce good fruit. This is how we know the apostles and elders are men of the Lord, because the fruit that came out of these men, the work that they put in, that steered off into us other younger brothers in the faith. You know what I'm saying? This is a product of good fruit being properly rooted, okay, with a solid foundation being Yahawah. Because when you go to Matthew 7, just real quick, make these quick. Matthew 7, let's start at 15. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep clothing. I'm just showing examples of men being trees and the resemblance to a righteous tree and a wicked tree. Okay, so-called wicked man and righteous man. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are they raven in wolves. So these are talking about men. You should know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. Now, when you think about what happened with Yahawah when he touched that fig tree, and Shalom to everybody tuning in. He touched that fig tree, and what happened? He told it wouldn't continue to produce fruit. And what happened to the tree? It withered away and died. It withered away. And that's what happens. So when someone is eating of, like what happened in the garden, okay, when we took on another philosophy, another oxygen, another breath, okay, because why did the Lord say He breathed into Adam and he became a living soul? Because He breathed in him the what? The law, statute, commandments, the way of life. Okay, the word that we're gonna find out is that the word is actually food and it's actually water. Okay, matter of fact, let's get a quick precept. 1 Corinthians 10:1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, all were baptized into Moses in the cloud and the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual rock, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Hamashiach. And Hamashiach, according to John 1:14, the word became flesh. YAHAWASHI is this word. So the word is actual food and it's actual drink, it's actual water, right? What happened when the father came onto Ezekiel in chapters 2 and 3? He says, "Son of man, eat this roll." Okay, eat the whole roll. That's talking about the scripture, about the Bible. Okay, eat the good, the bitter, and the sweet. So this Bible, these scriptures are what? Meat and drink, man. So we all ate the spiritual meat, and we all drank that spiritual rock, which is Hamashiach Yahawashi. So going back to that Matthew 7, Matthew 7 and 15, well 16, you should know them by their fruits. Do men gather great or evil fruit? And you're gonna find that trees are not located near water, like a Lebanon tree, gigantic and huge. Trees that are by water naturally grows and it vibrates. Okay, so we have to. It's impossible to be in this truth without actually for us not to have the truth to receive this salvation that is coming to the elect of Israel. So it says a good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit, because they don't go together. Okay, you're not gonna have a dark sky when it's a light sky outside. You know what I'm saying? It says every by their fruits you should know them. So what a man produces, and his countenance, and the things that his work, the things he do for work, and the results he get from that's his fruit. And you're gonna know that man based upon the fruit that he produces. Okay, there's always negativity, whatever it is, man. Matter of fact, what's that? Matthew 15. Slakia. Matthew 15 and 13. But he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father have not planted shall be rooted up. And this is talking about men, because it says in 14, let them alone, they be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into a ditch. Okay, so these men that the Father have not planted shall be rooted up. Okay, shall be rooted up. All right. And the Father, look, man, he's going to do that with that sharp sickle, like it says in Revelation 14, and also start go to Jude. It says these and 12, Jude 1 and 12. These are spots in your feast of charity, when they feast with you, feeding themselves without fear. Plows they are without water, carry about of winds, trees whose fruit withereth, without fruit, twice they are plucked up out the roots. You see, so these are men with spots in their charity, not sincere brothers that's amongst you, just gaining some type of self-claim, But it is talking about men, but it's saying that their clouds they are without water, carried about the winds, trees whose fruit withereth, because they're dead. Okay, they're in a dead state. Therefore, can no breath enter into them. Somebody was dead on the ground. You tried to get them CPR. It's not gonna work because his body's dead. He's lifeless. So the oxygen and the wind that you're pushing in his body is not going to revive him. You see? And that's why you have to have a certain type of spirit and vibration to Sherrod. Hey, tell him, yeah, tell him it's in the garage. Just open the garage and get him. Tell the brother to get him out the garage. The water. Slack. You know, so they're plucked up by the roots. You know, when you go to Psalms 1, it says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his laws doeth he meditate day and night." Right? Because the law is YAHWASHI, the word, the embodiment. I come in the full volume of the book. He's the high priest. Everything this book entails is him. It says, and he shall be like as a, he said, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Why? Because he is a tree planted by water. A tree that's planted by water, is more vibrant. So we're going to dwell in Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHWASHI to be what? More vibrant. Okay? When you go to St. John chapter 7, 38, it says, "He that believeth on me, as the scripture have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water." You see? So now that tree is doing big things, man. Look at all the but look at all the beautiful fruit that's coming from this one tree, this gigantic tree, man. And if you make it make sense, those are the sheep and the lambs that are being fed from these video epistles that's going to the four corners of the earth. And this fruit, the sheep are biting from this fruit, and they're growing. Not just, then they're growing at a massive rate. Apostle Tahar said all the time, I mean, it's not about camp names and all that, but we uphold ourselves to the true doctrine of Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHWASHI, the men under our leadership, starting with Apostle Tahar on down. So when you think about this, he said all the time, he say, damn, I lost my train of thought talking so much. See, that's what Jay get. But the point is that the more we dwell in Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHWASHI, the more we grow, man. All right, that's the point of it all. All right. So when you go to let's get a couple more. We close out Colossians. Rooted, because we got to be rooted and built in Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHWASHI, rooted and built up in him, established in the faith as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. Let me start at 6, like it. As ye have therefore received Hamashiach Yahawashi the Lord, so walk ye in him. So right, so when we walk in him, that means that's how you know we're rooted. Because we let our light shine, man. It says, so walk ye in him, rooted and built up in him, established in the faith as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. So we're rooted in Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHWASHI. You know how a filler, which was one who cuts down a tree, he come up to a tree and he cut the tree in half, right? And he think he's done justice. But little do they know that the tree is going to continue to grow again. Okay, it's going to grow back, because if you don't pluck the roots up, therefore the tree can still grow. And that's all that happens with Israel. According to Romans 11, Israel was cut off. Okay, but the vine in the tree that we're connected to lives forever. So how can something that's connected to something that lives forever ever die? We just read it in Matthew. A tree that produces good fruit, a righteous fruit, produce good fruit, and an evil tree produce corrupt fruit. So we know Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHWASHI is the righteous fruit, and if Israel come from that, Yahweh, it's to the point that Yahawashi had to be born in our same line. If all nations mattered and could be saved according to salvation, what the Bible teaches, like Israel, because it's only for Israel, therefore Yahawashi, it was no need for Yahawashi to come in under the line of Judah. He could have came in as another nation, man. But he didn't. He came in under a specific order, a specific bloodline, because why? It's all connected to the same tree. The Lord don't even allow us to mix our fabrics. Why would he allow us to mix our, you know what I'm saying, our nation mixing? You know what I'm saying? So the Lord, he's specific, man. He's specific. So those that dwell in YAHWASHI will continue to be built up. It says, as ye have therefore received Hamashiach Yahushua the Lord, so walking in him, rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith. So it's all by the faith, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. You see? Because when you go to St. John, since we bring that Colossians out, St. John 15, I am the true vine. So like I was quoting Romans 11, therefore Israel was grafted in again, reconciled, bringing back a friendship that was once unknown. You know what I'm saying? That tree branch, that branch that was cut off. You know what I'm saying? And able to come back onto the tree and you know, it's connected again. It can grow again. This time even more beautiful and stronger. You know? It says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. Isn't that the reason why we got cut off in the first place? Because why? We wasn't walking in Yahawashi. We just read walking in Yahawashi, and what that meant that we're rooted. If you know, so therefore the Lord had hid his face from us, and he allowed a filler to come in and cut us. So the point, he cut us off, you know what I'm saying, for a period of time until we can heal again. Because remember in Jeremiah 30, he said, I have wounded you with the wound of an enemy. You know? But he also said in Malachi 3, I change not. 3 and 6, therefore you sons of Jacob are not consumed. So therefore these branches will always be able to connect back to its rightful tree. It says, every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. Right? When you don't produce the things according to the scriptures in its totality and what the Bible actually teaches. Okay, walking in Yahawah, our Father and our Son. And the Father and the Son are beloved brother. It says, every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. Right? The proper doctrine. John 7, what's that? John 7, what's that? John 17? Let me see. I'm thinking, well, I forgot what I'm thinking of, but my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. You know, so Yahawashi is coming in the works of the Father. It says, he purges it. It says, in every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it might bring forth more fruit. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Who abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. You see that? You see that? No fruit can bear fruit of itself. No, as a branch cannot bear fruit of itself. You see? It has to be intertwined with something. Okay? It has to be intertwined with something. It says, except it abide in the vine. And that intertwining is Yahawashi, man. No more can ye except ye abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He that abide in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. It says, if a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch that and is withered. And men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burnt because they're no use. You see? There's a saying in the world, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, hey, it was broke. It told you that in Isaiah 1. Okay, the head is sick, the whole body is sick, dealing with our leadership. But when you go to Ecclesiastes 8, because it made me think of this, who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. So about walking and eating is, you know, like when Jake eat healthy, like especially an older Jake, and he into this all herbs and fruits and vegetables, right? And he work out a lot. He drinks, he stay hydrated, you know, he get proper rest. He might be looking younger than a 25-year-old man. You know what I'm saying? But he's only reason he's looking like that is because why? He's getting the proper nourishment, you know, the proper nutrition, having a proper nutrition diet that he can lean off of every single day. Okay, discipline, because that goes back to discipline. So in order for us to be a disciple, okay, going into what? Discipline of Yahawashi, therefore we have to properly eat we have to have the right diet, man. You can't just have all these different diets. You have to have the proper diet, and you have to stay consistent with that diet. You know, going into discipline. The disciples were very disciplined. So now we receive this, the meat and the proper drink. Now we are with our faces shining because we're walking in wisdom. We're vibrant. We're growing. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Apostle Tahar, that's what I was thinking about when I was talking about Apostle Tahar earlier, the water, YAHAWASHI, because he said, you know, when you learn under the elders and apostles and elders, your growth is crazy, man. Soon as you come under the elders and apostles, a great millstone, man, it's like within 6 months to a year, you learn so much. I mean, the Lord said knowledge would increase, but the way it's taught, you see what I'm saying? It's taught so specific, man, and beautifully, that you learn so much within those 6 months to a year. Well, versus if you're in another camp, you know what I'm saying, you stay on the milk a lot, man. It's like you never grow. The scriptures require us to grow. The couple of apostles did a lesson on that. We must be men of the Lord. They grow, man. You know, they grow. You can never stay stagnant, man. When you go to Mark 8:23, and he took this, dealing with the blind man, right? It says, and he took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes and put his hands upon him, he asked him if he saw aught. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking. Right? So he saw the YAHAWASHI allowed him to discern spirits, man. You know, that's what we are. We are discerning spirits. We, like the elder said, like Elder Apostle Tahar said, a man of the Lord is supposed to be able to discern spirits, man. So we when we look at spirits, we can make a sound judgment. All right, I shouldn't go near this guy because his spirit is off. He's dark. You could see he's dark. He's in a dark place or what have you. Or I shouldn't talk to this chick or whatever, man. We should be a discerner of spirits. Okay, so we're able to access these different gifts by what? Being accessed in the vine, drinking that true alkaline water. You know what I'm saying? Having that proper diet. So it says he saw men walking as trees. So now we see the spiritual side. We're starting to see the spiritual things. Like we could watch a movie right now. We could go watch a Leprechaun movie. We could watch I don't know, you know what I'm saying? A movie we grew up on in the 90s, right? Early 90s, okay? Mid 90s. Movies we grew up on and shows we grew up on. We go watch them as we're in the truth. We're going to see them from a whole different perspective. You know what I'm saying? Then when we was in the world, it says, and he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking. After that, he put his hands again upon his eyes and made him look up, and he was restored and saw every man clearly. You see, so now he's in a different state. Now he see regular people. But the YAHAWASHI he tapped his third eye. He was seeing things from a spiritual point of view. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we are today. You know what I'm saying? But the point is that every man is a tree, and every man produces some type of fruit. You know what I'm saying? And we, Lord willing, we just so happen to produce the fruit that makes the nations envious of thee. Before I get that in Ezekiel, I want to get 3 more, but let me get this precept. And damn, what's that? Let me see if I can find that real quick. I know where it's at, but let me. I just don't want to butcher it. Come on, man. Salakia, this thing not let me click the title.
And he looked up and said,
Any brother can know where it's at. Dealing with it said it's in Second Esdras. Duwadi YAHAWASHI. Second Esdras, chapter 2. It says Duwadi YAHAWASHI. Let's go down to the point. Bear with me. It says, 28. Second Esdras 2:28. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, said the Lord. You see? Because the first time Adam fell, and they was able to persuade our woman, and our woman was able to persuade us. But now they're going to do the same thing, but they're not going to be able to come up against the elect of Israel because why? It is done. It is finished. We finished the work that the Lord required of us. Like Yahawashi said, it is fulfilled. It's finished. You know, so that's why they're not going to be able to do nothing against us. But you see, when you go to Ezekiel 31, what's that? I'll start here at 4. Ezekiel 31 and 4, it says, the waters made him great, the deep set him up on high with her rivers running round about his plants, and sent out her little rivers unto all the trees of the field. Right. Showing you, we're going to get it, Lord willing. Showing you, I already broke this down in Genesis 3 breakdown. But the trees in the garden were actual people. This is what this is talking about. You know? The trees are actual people. Okay? It says the waters made him great. Okay, the knowledge and wisdom that he had, he was great. That's why I read Ecclesiastes 8. A wisdom maketh a man face to shine. And wisdom, when a man has great wisdom, that means he has great substance. Okay? He would never be broke. He would never go hungry. When you have so much wisdom, you will never starve. You see? The Father hid his wisdom from us, and therefore we're groping at noonday. As the blind, we therefore what? We're starving because we drifted away from our wisdom. Now we don't know how to survive. We don't know how to properly nourish ourselves. You see? So Yahawashi's wisdom, wisdom maketh a man face to shine. So now, what I'm saying, the wisdom we're gaining attention again. And now the nations are envying us again because of the knowledge that we're gaining even more in today's time, way far more than we knew now. That's why he mocked us and said, "You're not gonna die," and that's a cut because it was talking about trees, and then it goes to people as trees. You gotta like in verse 1 or 2, like she made the distinction in like 3. She broke it down dealing with Lord willing, I don't want to go there because I don't want to have to break the chapter down again. But basically, like making a distinction between the two. So when she ate of this fruit, she didn't die immediately. It was a process of time. Thousands of years had to go past. You see what I'm saying? But anyways, it says Ezekiel 31 and 4, the waters made him great, the deep set him up on high. This talking about wisdom, knowledge, understanding, dealing with Adam, with her rivers running around about his plants, and sent out her little rivers unto all the trees of the field. Therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field. You see, so now Adam's status, his knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and his literal height and his appearance, he was taller than all the rest, man. When you're Bill Gates, at a point in time, he was looked at as taller than all the rest, all right? Or the so-called white man, they're looked at as taller than all the rest. Because why? They pushed that they had the more knowledge or the better knowledge than everybody else. You would look at Jake, they'd be in the poor end of the neighborhoods with the poor teachers that didn't care. And then you're going to these high-end schools where they make it where you got to pay to get in these schools so that Jake won't get in there and that the rich stay rich. And then they put their children in there and they give them the best education. So now he's taller than all the rest. He's higher than us because of his wisdom. But the Father's going to put that down, you see, because it's not properly rooted. It doesn't have anything backing it. This is verse 6, Ezekiel 31 and 6. All the fowls of heaven made their nests in his boughs. Under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young. And under his shadow dwell all great nations. Thus was he fair in his greatness in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. Full wisdom. It says the cedars in the garden of the Most High could not hide him. Right? The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of the Most High was like unto him in his beauty. this is talking about, and I didn't even bring this out when I broke the chapter down. I mentioned it, but I believe I mentioned it, but this is a cut. This is all you need. I made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of the Most High envied him. So I brought out 2nd Esdras 2. They're gonna envy it. They're envying us again. This is why they cut our videos, and this is why they try to scrutinize us and demonize us, because they don't want us to be taller. You know, they work so hard, right? They work so hard to try to break our mind and get our mind by breaking our men and making them eunuchs and taking our women in front of us and taking our children in front of us and feeding them to alligators and so forth and so forth. They tried everything, hung us alive, burned us while we were hanging, and ate sandwiches next to us. They tried so much mental stuff to try to break us as a nation, man. And it didn't work, man. The whole time, it didn't work, man. You know, because that's that envy, man. The envy of that birthright, the envy of that blessing, because he know we're indestructible, which is why during slavery, he would take a Jake and operate on him without any anesthesia or any type of thing to numb the part that he's working on. He would just cut them open as they're screaming like pigs. He treated us like a pig, you know, in a slaughterhouse, you know. But like I'm saying, so the point is that now we're gaining that knowledge again, you know. Since we quoted it, this is, well, I'm going to read Genesis 3 and 8. But before I read that, this is what I was talking about, you know. Genesis 3, 3 and 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Most High had made. He said unto the woman, yet hath Most High said, you should not eat of every tree of the garden. Now this is how crafty he was, because the Father told us in Genesis, what's that 1, that that the trees were good for food. Like you know, he brought forth every yielding herb, you know, and they were good for food. So why would, see, this is the subtlety of the devil. He said, you should not eat of every tree of the garden, with a question mark. And that's why she responded like this. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the trees of the garden, because he was already commanded us that we can eat from all the different trees. These are literal trees. You know what I'm saying? It says, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, YAHWASHI have said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die. Right. Now now I was breaking off to a different segment, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, this is talking about man, right? Yahweh have said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die. And why? Because anything outside of what I give you is death. Okay? Is she gonna die right then? No. It says, and the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die. For the Most High doeth know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Okay, so you jump down to 8. It says, and they heard the voice of the Lord, YAHWASHI, walking in the garden in the cool of the day. So I broke this down too. The voice of the Most High is the prophets, right? Because we're his mouth. Okay, we're his mouthpiece, and the prophets were back then, like the scripture said. The prophets have been since the world began. Okay, so the prophets were there, and they were calling out to Adam. It says, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the YAHWASHI amongst the trees of the garden. And that's talking about men. They went to go hide themselves amongst the nations out of fear for the prophets, because the prophets had a direct connection with the Father. And the Lord YAHWASHI called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? See, why would it say that? And it says, and he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. So it said, and he said, who told thee that thou was naked? So the prophets end up telling him that he was naked. You see? Because their presence, you know, their presence, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord amongst the trees of the garden. So they went to go hide themselves amongst the other nations out of shame, being in what? Sin. Now they're in sin, right? So we could close out Revelations 22. It's like if I didn't want to just go this long, but it is what it is. Revelations 22:1. Unto the angel of the church of Ephesus, right? No, this is 2. It's like it. Revelations 22:1. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal. Whew, man, imagine seeing that, man. I've never seen crystal clear water in my life. Like outside at the ocean or the beach. You know what I'm saying? The oceans, the lake. No water I've ever seen in my life clear like that. Now you got some areas like Bahamas that might be close to clear, but nothing in this world have we seen what the Lord has prepared for us. All right. It says, and he said, and he showed me a pure river. Whew, see, pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of the Most High and of the Lamb. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river was there the tree of life, you see, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations, you see. And these 12 manner of fruits are representation of the 12 tribes of Israel. And the 12 tribes of Israel, all right, pursuant to Isaiah chapter 2, are going to what? They're going to teach the nations. All right, the nations, the only way you can be healed is by the word of the Father, which is his dear son. In the name of YAHAWASHI, that's the only way you can be healed. So the healing of the nations, to an extent, because the nations are going to prosper too, because the righteous are in authority, according to Proverbs 29:2. So, but the nations' healing comes from them being taught the ways of the Lord. They're going to have to keep the ways of YAHAWASHI, man, according to Isaiah chapter 2. So the healing comes from the 12 tribes being set back on top. You see? See, the problem is everybody want to receive that same salvation, so they include everybody. But what's so wrong with Israel going back to the rightful order so that the whole world could be at peace? Why is that so wrong? You see, it's so wrong because the people see us proclaiming to be those people. And that's a problem to people. You see, but that's just because they're envy. Like we brought out, they're envying that the water and the food that we're drinking has us growing taller than them now. So that's why they're being recognized that they were really small. You know, like them little dudes that be on like them stilts and a big bodysuit, and you break his ass down, and you find out he was on stilts the whole time. I think that's the right word. It says in 3, Revelation 22:3, and there should be no more curse, but the throne of YAHAWASHI and of the Lamb, Yahweh and of the Lamb, YAHAWASHI, shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him, meaning minister unto him, serve him. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads, the elect, their minds. They're going to have a new identity. They're going to have that covenant and complete 100%ness. All right. Unable to go off, unable to think about sin. And there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun. It goes back to what I quoted at the beginning of the video. For the Lord, the Most High power, giveth them light, and they shall reign forever and ever. You see, trees and vines climb upwards to receive that light. See, we're gonna be at our proper, vibration, to the max degree. You know what I'm saying? But that's what we're doing now. The Lord said, cry out. Right? When you pray, you're supposed to lift your arms up. Your arms are not supposed to come together with your hands closed together. Okay? The prayer, you're supposed to hold your hands open. Okay? And you close, bow your head, or you bow or whatever, and so forth. So that's a form of crying out. We're reaching unto the heavens, It says, verse 6, and he said unto me, these things are faithful and true, and the Lord, power of the holy prophets, sent his angel to show unto his servants the things which must shortly be done. You see, he said unto me, these things are faithful and true, man. These things are faithful and true. And the Lord, power and of the holy prophets, sent his angel to show unto his servants the things which must shortly be done. And these things must shortly be done, man. Why? Because YAHAWASHI said that he said, out of our bellies shall flow rivers of living water. So if that happens, therefore we can do miracles, like Yahawashi with the blind man, you know, give somebody the proper doctrine, and now they can see. They see men as walking as trees, you know. They see the truth, you know. They see the vines going throughout the body. They see the pulsating images, you know, of the people, man. They see zombies. They see the truth for what it is. Like that movie, I always forget the name. The brother always give me the name and I always forget it. The movie when the dude put the glasses on, and it was appeared to be one way, and then when you take the glasses off, it was another way. All right, it was a billboard that might say "Got milk," but then when you put the glasses on, it says "Got Satan" or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's how these movies do. You know, they have witchcraft and things spelled upside down and backwards, but you see it forward. You know, so what Yahawashi have not planned should be rooted up, just some through the spirit to show how men could be as trees, and we are looked at as trees. We produce good fruit. We dwell in Yahawashi, and we get the living water and the true bread. If you produce corrupt fruit, therefore you produce death, man. You're a tree that withers away because you're not drinking from that brook. You're not drinking from that stream that water. You're not connected to the vine. Okay, you have a clog in your pipes, and it's not allowing the water to flow into you. You know, you still have the other breath on you still. You know, oxygen. You know, so Lord willing is edifying. Until next time.